Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. Today we'll be talking about the Nehru Report which came in the year September 1928. Like I said earlier, in history we can never understand a topic without understanding what was happening before it. We cannot study anything in isolation in history. So, before the coming of the Nehru Report in September 1928, a Simon Commission had come to in India in 1927. I'm not going to go into details because I have made a video on it, and I'll be posting a link in the description box below. In case you have missed that out, you can go and check that out. But just to give a brief overview of what the Simon Commission was, it had come with a set of rules to on how to govern India. But the committee, Simon Committee that was made, to come up with the rules and regulations. Not a single Indian was on the board. Therefore, the Indians had completely rejected it. Now, in rejecting the Salmon Commission, there was not just one party that was rejecting it, but all the parties were united against the Salmon Commission. They were chanting slogans of "Go Salmon, Go" when the Salmon Commission had arrived in India. They had completely rejected it, and there were demonstrations all over India. Okay, now immediately after the Salmon Commission, because they had rejected it, all the parties gathered together in May 1928 and they decided to hold an all party conference. Now, what all parties were there? It was the Congress, the League, the Liberals were there, the Hindu Mahasabha was in it, and the Central Sikh League was also part of this all party conference. Now, in this all party conference, it was decided that now they themselves, instead of putting relying on the British or another exterior foreign power to make rules for them, they themselves will draft a constitution for India. And this was to be headed by Pandit Motilal Nehru, who drafted this constitution, and it was accepted in the year 1928, September 1928. And this constitution popularly became known as the Nehru Report. Now, the Muslim League, just to add in, had certain reservations against the Nehru Report, and Qaeda-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah was not in favor of the Nehru Report. That is why you will see that immediately after the coming of the Nehru Report came in the 14 points of Qaeda-e-Azam. I will be making a video on that, and you will see that later on why was he opposed to the Nehru Report. Now, let us come on to the Nehru Report and the points that are mentioned under it. Now, Nehru Report, came up with certain points, and the first was to grant dominion status for India. Now, what is dominion? To understand this, you have to understand that United Kingdom was a country that had several colonies all over the world at that time. Now, some of those colonies had been given partial independence, meaning not complete independence, but half independence or partial independence by the United Kingdom. Those states came to be known as dominions. Okay, so a dominion basically is an autonomous community, but it is within the British Empire. Okay, so you can understand it this way that the British Empire is like an umbrella, okay, and has several countries under it. Now, some of those countries, which gain partial independence, are called as dominions. Okay, so they are called as dominions. Now, the Indians, after the Simon Commission, and when they got extremely agitated by the response that was shown by the British government towards the Indian community, they decided that they should ask for a dominion status, meaning they were moving towards complete independence. Okay. The second point said that India should now be a federation with a two-chamber parliament. And the term federation actually means that the power should be distributed between two, that is the center and the provinces, meaning now no longer the power will be concentrated in the center, but it has to be divided between the center and the provinces. Okay. Now, that would make the people more powerful because the provinces will have some sort of liberty in deciding their own rules. That is why they asked for this. Now, the third point, according to the Nehru report, was that they demanded that that minorities should be protected, and for their protection, seats should be reserved in the two chambers. That is, in the two chambers of the parliament. Now, but this Nehru report did not support the separate electorates, the demand for separate electorates, which the Hindus had accepted in the Lucknow Pact in 1916. Now, you should remember that Lucknow Pact, a historical pact where the Hindus and Muslims had come together, here in the Hindus had accepted that the Muslims should be granted the right for separate electorates. But when the Nehru report came in, there was no point accepting the right of the Muslims to have separate electorates. Now, this was the point, which Qaeda-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah was not comfortable with, and that is why he, went against the Nehru Report later on, and we'll see that. In case you're wondering what separate electorates is, so I have made a video on separate electorates as well, and it is a very important topic. I would say that because you will not be able to understand the dynamics of Indian politics unless and until you understand what is the meaning of separate electorates. Okay, so and you can go and check that video. If you cannot understand that, then I'll make a new video on it. An exclusive video just for this particular topic. Then he also demanded, the report also demanded that there should be vote for all adult men and women. Now, the British was also given 1 year to accept this resolution, this report, or else what would happen? There would be a nationwide non-cooperation campaign against the British government. So this was all about the Nehru Report, and it is not difficult. I'm trying to make learning as simple as possible for you, because when you have to write all of this in exams, it becomes very confounding. But when you study it this way, you will be able to retain it for a longer time. Okay, so what were the main points of the Nehru Report? Number one, the dominant it asked for a dominant status. It wanted India to become a federation and protection for the minorities. They should have seats in reserved seats in both the chambers of the parliament. Then the votes should be granted to all adult men and women, and the British were given around 1 year to accept this resolution, or else they would all call for a non-cooperation movement. Okay, I hope this has become clear to all of you. So my next video is going to be on the 14 points of Qaeda-ism, and I'll try to make it very simple and tell you or teach you methods on how to study the 14 points of Qaeda-ism in a jiffy. Okay, so stay tuned for that. Until then, I'm Nida Umar signing off. Take care of yourselves and of your loved ones. Bye bye.